In a large city, there lived a very rich man. Known by many as a millionaire, his house was big and beautiful, full of expensive things and many rooms. The millionaire liked everything to be perfect and well taken care of. So he hired a maid to help with the housework. The maid was a kind woman from a humble background. She was black and had worked hard all her life to improve her situation. Every day, she came to the millionaire's house early in the morning and left late in the evening. She cleaned the floors, dusted the furniture, cooked meals, and did many other jobs with care. The millionaire noticed that the maid was always honest and hardworking. He trusted her because she never gave him any reason to doubt her. But as time passed, a small part of him began to wonder if his trust was truly deserved. He thought, what if she takes something when I am not looking? This question bothered him sometimes. One evening, after the maid had finished her work and left the house, the millionaire sat in his study, thinking about his wealth and how he kept it safe. He had a big safe locked with a strong code, where he kept money, jewelry, and other valuable things. The safe was always locked and carefully watched by him and his family. That night, the millionaire made a decision. He wanted to find out if the maid was honest without asking her directly. It was not that he wanted to blame her, but he needed to be sure. He decided to leave the safe open the next day to see what the maid would do. He thought maybe her actions would tell him the truth. The next morning, the millionaire woke up early and quietly went to his study. He opened the safe slightly and left it that way before leaving for the day. He waited for the maid to come and do her work. Curious about what would happen, he stayed hidden to watch. When the maid arrived, she greeted the house softly, as she always did. She started cleaning the rooms one by one, humming a small tune to herself. Finally, she reached the study where the safe was open. She stopped for a moment and looked carefully at the safe, noticing the money and jewelry inside. Many people in her position might have been tempted, but she was different. She gently closed the safe door and locked it carefully. She did not touch anything else and continued cleaning the room. The millionaire was watching all this and felt shocked inside. He never expected this reaction. From that moment, he had a new respect for the maid. He saw that honesty and trustworthiness could not be judged by money or background. He realized that sometimes people with little wealth had the most valuable qualities. The millionaire thought about how unfair it was to doubt her in the first place. Later, he went to the maid and spoke to her kindly. He told her about the open safe and why he did it. The maid smiled and said she always believed in doing the right thing, even when no one is watching. This moment became a special bond between the millionaire and his maid, built on trust and respect. This story shows us an important lesson, that trust is earned and honesty can be found in the most unexpected places. It reminds us to look beyond appearances and value the good within people. The millionaire's test was simple, but the truth it revealed was powerful and unforgettable. The millionaire was a man who had everything money could buy. He owned cars, houses, and even a private plane. But among all his possessions, what he valued most was trust. He lived alone in his big house with only one maid to help him. She was quiet, polite, and did her chores without complaint. But as days passed, the millionaire began to feel a shadow in his mind, a small but growing doubt about the maid's honesty. He asked himself if it was right to think this way. Yet the question stayed, like a whisper that would not go away. Did she ever take something that was not hers? He wondered. He remembered stories he had heard about people stealing in secret. Even those who seemed honest, the thought made his heart feel heavy. He wanted to believe in the maid, but he was too careful to ignore his feelings. Because of his wealth, he had to be careful about whom to trust with his treasures. The millionaire noticed small things that made him think twice, like the time the maid was late without any explanation, or when some small item was missing from a drawer, but no one knew what happened to it. These things may have been accidents, but to him, they added up to something more. He could not sleep well at night thinking about it. One evening, as he looked around his empty house, the millionaire decided he had to do something. He did not want to accuse the maid without proof, but at the same time, he needed to test her somehow. He thought of watching her closely, but that felt too obvious and unfair. He wanted the test to be silent. To see what the maid would do on her own, he made a plan to leave a part of his world open and unprotected, something valuable and close to him. He thought of his safe, which was always locked tight, filled with cash, rings, and papers that were very important. If the maid took anything from it, he wanted to know, but if she did not, he wanted to see her honesty clearly. The day before the test, the millionaire felt nervous. Not like before when he spent money freely, but like a man waiting for an answer to a secret question. He looked at the maid as she worked quietly and thought about her past. He knew she had struggled in life and worked very hard to live better. Did that make her more likely to be honest, or did it make her tempted by his wealth? He could not be sure. When night came, the millionaire prepared himself mentally. He planned to leave the safe open the next morning while he was away. To watch what the maid would do, he set an alarm in the house to keep an eye on the study. He even asked a friend to check in on the house through cameras, just in case. As he lay in bed, the millionaire's mind raced with many thoughts. What if the maid took something? Would he confront her and lose trust forever? What if she did nothing, and he realized he had doubted her unfairly? The questions made him restless, but he knew that finding the truth was more important than his peace of mind. He had to know. The morning came quickly, and the millionaire started his day acting like usual. He left the safe in the study door slightly open, making sure the valuable items were visible. Then he left the house for a few hours, hiding nearby to watch secretly. His heart beat fast as he waited. The maid arrived at her usual time, humming a small song under her breath. She greeted the empty house with a gentle word, feeling comfortable and at home. She moved from room to room, carrying her cleaning tools, dusting tables and wiping windows. As she entered the study, she saw the safe door open, the shining gold coins and papers inside calling for attention. For a brief moment, the maid stopped, breathing slowly as she looked at what was inside. She was not blind to the temptation, but instead of reaching for it, she quietly closed the door, locking the safe firmly. Then she smiled softly to herself as if to say, "I will do what is right." Her hands were steady, and her eyes showed no fear or guilt. The millionaire saw this from a hidden corner, feeling his breath catch in his throat. He had prepared for many possible answers, but this was more than he expected. The maid was honest and pure in her heart, and this small act of closing the safe was louder than any words. After her work was done, the maid continued cleaning the rest of the house, and the millionaire felt a wave of respect and relief. He realized how important it was to trust people, even when doubts try to cloud our minds. He also understood that true character is shown in small actions, not only big decisions. He decided that when the maid finished her day, he would thank her properly. He wanted to show her that her honesty meant more than any wealth he had. This moment was going to change the way he looked at people, and perhaps the way he lived his life. In the quiet town where the millionaire lived, every day seemed like any other, but deep inside his heart, a new thought was growing stronger. He had made a decision the night before, and now it was time to put that decision into action. The millionaire wanted to understand the true nature of the maid, not just with words, but through her actions. He believed that when a person is tested without knowing it, their true character comes forward. This idea gave him both hope and nervousness. Early in the morning, he walked to his study room with a clear plan in mind. The big safe held many treasures: money, jewelry, and important papers. Usually, the safe was always locked tight without any chance to open it, but today would be different. He carefully opened the safe door just enough to make it look like it had been forgotten or left open by mistake. He placed the precious items clearly where anyone entering the room could see them easily. His hands moved slowly and carefully, as if afraid that even a small mistake could change everything. The millionaire knew that what he was about to do was risky, but he felt it was necessary. After opening the safe, he looked around the room one last time, making sure everything seemed normal except for the safe door. Then, he locked the study room door behind him, but left the key on the table. He would use a hidden camera to see what happened when the maid came in. The millionaire felt uneasy as he left the house, but he stayed close enough to come back quickly. His mind was filled with many thoughts about trust, honesty, and how people sometimes surprise us when we least expect it. He began to see the situation not as a test, but as a chance to learn something important about life. Meanwhile, the maid was going about her daily routine without knowing what was waiting for her that day. She had worked in the millionaire's house for many years and believed that doing her job honestly was the most important thing in life. Every morning was a new chance to prove herself through hard work and kindness. When she arrived at the house, she took her cleaning tools and began her work as usual. She moved quietly and quickly through the rooms, dusting the shelves, sweeping the floors, and washing the windows. She treated the house with great respect. Understanding how much it meant to her employer, as the maid reached the study room, she noticed right away that the door was slightly open. This was unusual because the millionaire always kept it closed and locked. Her eyes widened slightly with curiosity, but she did not step inside immediately. Instead, She took a deep breath and thought about what she should do. Her heart was calm and her mind was clear. The maid stepped into the room and saw the safe door open. The treasures inside glistened under the light. Shining like stars in a dark sky, she felt the pull of temptation. But something stronger held her back. Her strong values and respect for the millionaire guided her actions. She gently closed the safe door and locked it carefully. Making sure nothing was out of place, without touching anything else, the maid continued her work as if nothing had happened. She cleaned the tables and straightened the papers, all while keeping her thoughts peaceful and focused. The millionaire watched from the hidden camera. His heart full of surprise and admiration, he saw honesty in action. The rest of the day passed without any disturbances. The maid moved through the rooms with quiet grace, and the millionaire waited patiently to speak to her. When the maid finished her work and was about to leave, the millionaire stepped out to meet her with a kind smile. He was ready to thank her for showing him that trust was not blind, but earned through truth and good heart. Their eyes met, and in that moment a new bond was formed. This bond was built on respect and honesty, two things more valuable than all the treasures in the safe. The millionaire knew that this day will always be remembered as a turning point in his life, a day when he learned the true meaning of trust and the power of a simple act of integrity. The morning sun rose gently over the millionaire's grand house, casting soft shadows across the garden. The day of the test had come, and the millionaire was both nervous and curious. He woke up early and prepared himself to watch the maid's actions without being noticed. As the maid arrived, the house was quiet except for her footsteps. She greeted the room softly, as she always did. With a voice full of kindness and respect, she dressed simply but neatly, her uniform clean and her hands steady from years of hard work. The millionaire hid in a small room close to the study, where he could see everything through hidden cameras. His heart beat fast, and he felt like a child waiting for a surprise. He wanted to know the truth about the maid, but at the same time, he hoped she would prove trustworthy. The maid entered the study room, holding her cleaning cloth and dust brush. She noticed the safe door was open just a little. The bright jewels and money visible inside. She stopped for a moment, her eyes fixed on the open safe. She took a deep breath and felt a quiet strength inside her, reminding her to choose the right path instead of reaching for the money or jewelry. She gently closed the door with care, making sure it was securely locked. Then she smiled softly, as if telling herself, "I will always do what is right." Her hands did not shake, and her expression showed calmness and honesty. The millionaire watched this silently. Amazed at her reaction, he had expected many possible answers, but this act of kindness and truth touched him deeply. It told him more than any words could have said. He realized that trust was not given lightly, but shown in small moments like these. After closing the safe, the maid continued her work, cleaning and tidying up everything in the room. She moved with quiet grace, her mind at peace, knowing she had done what was right even when no one was watching. The millionaire's heart filled with respect, and he quietly stepped out to thank her. Later that day, the millionaire spoke to the maid gently, telling her about the safe and why he left it open that morning. She listened carefully and smiled kindly, saying, "Honesty is my choice, no matter the situation. I believe in doing the right thing even when it is hard." Her words stayed with the millionaire, teaching him a lesson about true character. From that moment, the millionaire and the maid built a new understanding between them, one based on honesty, respect, and trust. He admired her not just as a worker, but as a person with a pure heart. Their relationship changed and grew stronger because of the simple test he had set, showing how actions speak louder than words. The story of the test spread quietly among the people who knew them, inspiring others to value honesty and truth. It reminded everyone that the greatest treasures in life are not gold or jewels, but the trust and respect we build with each other. The millionaire learned that sometimes the smallest test reveals the greatest truths. The millionaire watched carefully as the maid approached the open safe. His heart was pounding because this moment was very important to him. He had prepared this test not just to find out if anything was missing, but to see the true character of the woman who worked in his house. The maid stopped for a moment to look inside the safe. The shining gold and sparkling jewels caught her eyes, but she did not move closer to take anything. Instead, she seemed calm and thoughtful. Knowing what was right in her heart, her hands gently reached out, and she closed the safe door slowly and carefully, making sure it was locked tightly. Her reaction was quiet but powerful. It showed honesty, respect, and a strong sense of right and wrong. The millionaire felt a deep wave of surprise and admiration spreading inside him. He never expected her to be so careful and truthful, especially when no one was watching her closely. This small act spoke more than any promise or word. The maid then continued her work as if nothing unusual had happened. She dusted the shelves, wiped the furniture, and polished the windows beautifully. Her mind was free of worry because she knew she had done what was right. She had faith in her honesty and did not fear being tested. Watching all this, the millionaire's feelings changed completely. Before he had some doubt and fear, but now he felt confidence and respect. He realized how important it was to trust others and see their actions. Trust was not something given automatically but earned through honest behavior and good choices. The maid worked with care, moving quietly through the rooms. She prepared meals, cleaned the floors, and made sure everything was perfect. The millionaire stayed hidden, observing silently but feeling peace in his heart. The house seemed brighter with her presence, as if honesty had brought new light to the walls. After the maid finished her work and was ready to leave, the millionaire came out to meet her. His eyes showed warmth and gratitude. He thanked her for her honesty and told her that her actions meant more to him than anything else. The maid smiled kindly and told him that honesty was her way of life. She believed in doing good even when no one is watching. This moment was very special. They both understood that trust is a gift that grows with respect and truth. From that day on, the millionaire never doubted the maid again. Their relationship grew stronger based on truth and kindness. It was a story that would be remembered as an example of how small actions can change lives. After witnessing the maid's honest reaction to the open safe, the millionaire felt a deep sense of respect and gratitude. He had been uncertain and cautious, but now those doubts were replaced by admiration. He realized that honesty is not about wealth or status, but about the choices people make in difficult moments. The millionaire called the maid to sit with him in the living room. Where light gently filled the space, he looked at her kindly and said, "Today, you showed me that honesty is the greatest treasure anyone can have." His voice was warm and filled with sincerity. He wanted her to understand how much her actions meant to him. The maid smiled softly and replied, "I believe trust is the foundation of all good relationships, whether between a rich man and a maid or between any two people in the world. I do my best to live by that belief every day." Her words were honest and full of wisdom. The millionaire thought about how many times he had judged people without reason and how this test had taught him a new lesson in humility and understanding. He knew that trust must be earned and respected, and from that day, he promised to treat the maid not just as an employee, but as a valued person in his life. He decided to reward her honesty in a way that went beyond money or gifts. He offered her better working conditions and more respect in the household. He also promised to listen to her ideas and thoughts, understanding that a relationship built on mutual respect grows stronger. The maid was touched by the millionaire's kind gesture and felt a new sense of pride and belonging in the house. From this moment forward, their daily lives changed. Their interactions were not just about work, but about trust and friendship. The millionaire felt lighter and happier. Knowing he could rely on someone with a true heart, the maid felt honored and respected, happy to work in a place where honesty was so deeply valued. The story of the test and the millionaire's response quietly spread, reaching the ears of many who heard it with a smile. It became a reminder that kindness and trust are powerful forces that can change lives and bring people together. The millionaire's small act of testing the maid revealed a much bigger truth about human nature and respect. After the millionaire's heartfelt conversation with the maid, life in the grand house began to change in ways no one expected. The trust between the two grew deeply rooted, turning their relationship into one of respect and genuine appreciation. The maid felt valued not just for her work, but for who she was as a person. And the millionaire felt peace knowing he could rely on her honesty. The days that followed were filled with kindness and understanding. The millionaire made sure the maid received better working conditions, nicer clothes for her daily tasks, and even offered extra time off to rest and enjoy her family. These simple acts showed the maid he truly cared about her well-being and valued her dedication. In return, the maid worked with even more care and pride. Her smile brightened the house and her spirit lifted everyone around. She found new confidence in herself, knowing her honesty had made a difference. Both the millionaire and the maid learned valuable lessons about trust, humility, and respect. Word of the test and the maid's reaction began to quietly spread in the town. The story was not one of accusations or mistrust, but a tale about true integrity and character. It inspired others to look beyond appearances and judge people by their actions and heart. This story became a symbol of hope and honesty in a world often clouded by doubt. The millionaire found himself changing too. He started to treat people around him with more kindness and less suspicion. The experience taught him that the greatest wealth is not money or jewels, but the trust and goodwill shared between people. He became more generous, not only with his money, but also with his respect and attention. The maid's life also changed in meaningful ways. She felt proud of her honesty and strength. Her family was proud of her too, knowing she was respected by a man who had everything yet valued her simply for being true. The maid's story became a reminder that true character shines brightest in the face of temptation. Together, the millionaire and maid showed the power of trust and respect in building a strong, honest relationship. Their story told the world an important lesson. Honesty is a treasure worth more than gold, and that sometimes a simple test can reveal the true beauty of a person's heart, a lesson that would be remembered for many years to come. The story of the millionaire and his maid came to be known as a powerful example of trust and honesty in the community. People talked about how a simple test revealed the true character of a person, and how respect and kindness could change lives for the better. It became a story shared in homes and among friends as a lesson for all ages. The millionaire, who once had doubts and fears, now lived with a peaceful heart, knowing that he could trust the maid completely. Their relationship was no longer just about employer and worker, but about friendship and mutual respect. They shared moments of laughter, understanding, and support. Creating a warm atmosphere in the house, the maid continued her work with pride and joy, feeling that she was seen for who she truly was. Her honesty had earned her not only the millionaire's trust, but also his admiration. She became a symbol of integrity in her community, inspiring many to hold on to their values even in difficult times. The story also taught a greater lesson to everyone who heard it, that trust is not something to be taken lightly, but something to be earned and cherished. It reminded people that small actions often define us more than words, and that honesty is a treasure beyond any material wealth. The millionaire often reflected on the day he left the safe open, understanding that his small test had created a big change in his life. It had shown him the strength of the maid's character and the power of trust to heal doubts and fears. This experience shaped his views on people and relationships forever. Through this story, we learn that kindness, respect, and honesty can open doors to new beginnings. The millionaire and the maid's journey teaches us to believe in the goodness of people and to give trust when it is deserved. Their story is a shining example for all who seek to build strong and genuine connections in life. In the end, the millionaire and the maid lived not just under the same roof, but also in a bond that money could never buy. Their story remains a beautiful reminder of what it means to be honest, kind, and trustworthy, a truth as timeless as human nature itself. The story of the millionaire and his maid came to be known as a powerful example of trust and honesty in the community. People talked about how a simple test revealed the true character of a person, and how respect and kindness could change lives for the better. It became a story shared in homes and among friends as a lesson for all ages. The millionaire, who once had doubts and fears, now lived with a peaceful heart, knowing that he could trust the maid completely. Their relationship was no longer just about employer and worker, but about friendship and mutual respect. They shared moments of laughter, understanding, and support. Creating a warm atmosphere in the house, the maid continued her work with pride and joy, feeling that she was seen for who she truly was. Her honesty had earned her not only the millionaire's trust, but also his admiration. She became a symbol of integrity in her community, inspiring many to hold on to their values even in difficult times. The story also taught a greater lesson to everyone who heard it, that trust is not something to be taken lightly, but something to be earned and cherished. It reminded people that small actions often define us more than words, and that honesty is a treasure beyond any material wealth. The millionaire often reflected on the day he left the safe open, understanding that his small test had created a big change in his life. It had shown him the strength of the maid's character and the power of trust to heal doubts and fears. This experience shaped his views on people and relationships forever. Through this story, we learn that kindness, respect, and honesty can open doors to new beginnings. The millionaire and the maid's journey teaches us to believe in the goodness of people and to give trust when it is deserved. Their story is a shining example for all who seek to build strong and genuine connections in life. In the end, the millionaire and the maid lived not just under the same roof, but also in a bond that money could never buy. Their story remains a beautiful reminder of what it means to be honest, kind, and trustworthy, a truth as timeless as human nature itself. The story of the millionaire and his maid came to be known as a powerful example of trust and honesty in the community. People talked about how a simple test revealed the true character of a person, and how respect and kindness could change lives for the better. It became a story shared in homes and among friends as a lesson for all ages. The millionaire, who once had doubts and fears, now lived with a peaceful heart, knowing that he could trust the maid completely. Their relationship was no longer just about employer and worker, but about friendship and mutual respect. They shared moments of laughter, understanding, and support, creating a warm atmosphere in the house. The maid continued her work with pride and joy, feeling that she was seen for who she truly was. Her honesty had earned her not only the millionaire's trust, but also his admiration. She became a symbol of integrity in her community, inspiring many to hold on to their values even in difficult times. The story also taught a greater lesson to everyone who heard it: that trust is not something to be taken lightly, but something to be earned and cherished. It reminded people that small actions often define us more than words, and that honesty is a treasure beyond any material wealth. The millionaire often reflected on the day he left the safe open, understanding that his small test had created a big change in his life. It had shown him the strength of the maid's character and the power of trust to heal doubts and fears. This experience shaped his views on people and relationships forever. Through this story, we learn that kindness, respect, and honesty can open doors to new beginnings. The millionaire and the maid's journey teaches us to believe in the goodness of people and to give trust when it is deserved. Their story is a shining example for all who seek to build strong and genuine connections in life. In the end, the millionaire and the maid lived not just under the same roof, but also in a bond that money could never buy. Their story remains a beautiful reminder of what it means to be honest, kind, and trustworthy, a truth as timeless as human nature itself.